my name's Jen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record with you in here. It's okay. Just as long as you don't tease me. Just don't tease. Hi, my name's Jen. I'm going to share with you some of the first books that I've read this year about how to write and how to become a novelist. I feel like this is something I wanted to do because after jumping into NaNoWriMo last year, I learned how much I don't know. I don't feel like there's a lot of booktubers who do a lot of reviews on how to write books. So I'm excited to share with you. The very first book I read this year is The One Year Novelist. Now, I believe I've already shared a video about this book. I loved it because it was simple and very short. I think the author had shared that there's actually only 11 full pages of writing in this book because a lot of it's prompts and leaving you space to write. I thought this was an excellent breakdown of the 5-story structure. This particular author titles it Story Spark, a quarter twist, the midpoint, and the 3/4 turn, and then the climax. I found it helpful and I do recommend it. It's fast read. The next book I read this year was This Year You Write Your Novel. I really liked this book as well. It also is short and has some great little nuggets in it. Probably my biggest takeaway from this book is how important rewriting is and to expect rewriting. I believe in this book he points out that it takes you 3 months to write your book and then 9 months worth of editing. That's basically how this time structure is structured out. The third book I read this year was The Story Anatomy. My dog, she's helping me. Hold on, girl, lay down. Now, this book blew my mind. It broke me and I still think about often. As you can see, I feel like every single page has a tab on it. Yeah, I don't believe in dog earring. This book deserves a very long video all to itself. I'll save recap of this book. The fourth book I read this year was How to Still Like an Artist. Now, I listened to the audiobook and it came with 3 others from the author, and I really enjoyed it. I listened to all 3 of them. My biggest takeaways from Still Like an Artist was the idea that nothing is original and that all artists still are the best artists, very good plagiarizers in the sense that they take ideas from other authors or other artists that they love and then they make it their own. They adjust it, they change it, they make it their own. And also, the author points out, find out what your favorite authors, what things they like to read and study, and go read and study those things and see if that's helpful for you. Something else he shares is go on walks, be in nature, guard your time, be a boring person, have a routine. Because if this is something I struggle with, so wanting to do so many good things all the time, then we really don't have time to write. And being wise and knowing how to guard your time, how to manage your time, not overbooking or overscheduling yourself. He recommends having a day job because it's really hard to make a living, especially when you're trying to break in to your art form. It's really hard to make a living in that field until you're proficient and you're super good at it. And he talks about living frugally. Do not live outside of your means because then you feel pressure and stress to make your art form an additional form of income. So if you live below your means, then that pressure's not as much on you, financial pressure to be able to produce. Along with that, he shares it's not about how much money you have, it's about how much money you save. I really loved that. And I loved all the things that he shared. The final takeaway from him was start right now. Now it's how you attract others who also are on the same journey as you are. It was book 1, 2, and 4 that I've read this year. Well, I guess if you can consider audiobooks reading, I'm so going to do that. Interchanging out between audiobook and the physical book. Actually, my favorite thing to do is to get the audiobook and the physical book and follow along. I listened to this audiobook first and it was so good I had to get the book. So then I'm going to need to go back through and mark probably re-listen to it or reread it and mark the parts that really stood out to me. I wanted to do an honorable mentions for this book, The Seven Figure Fiction by T. Taylor. A quick read. I did it in about an hour. I liked this book because it was inspiring, because this author shares her story and how she tapped into self-publishing through Amazon. One hard thing about this book is I would not write in the genres that this author writes in, specifically more spicy content. However, it's fascinating how and inspiring how this author just goes. She just jumps right in and she goes and she figures out along the way. So kudos to her. It's inspiring to read her rigor and how she just jumps in and goes. Because that, my friend, I feel like is some of the hardest part is just to jump in and learn and fumble and stumble and go and do it. Do the thing that we want to do. So with that said, I wish you the best of luck today and this week with writing. Happy writing.